Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful early fall, late September day here in Kentucky. September 30th, last day of September. So officially start October tomorrow. And what are we doing? Well, we are getting our hives ready for winter is what we're doing. So what all does that include? Well, you should be done with your, I would say you should be done with the bulk of your mite treatments by now. So if you're still trying to use formic acid or thymol-based treatments, you've really kind of missed your window. And the reason is you do not want to shut your queens down this time of year. So the queens have already started raising the fat bees that they need to survive through the wintertime. So what is a fat bee? Well, a fat bee is a female bee that has extra fat bodies, basically. Think of it like their liver. And I was texting Kent Williams the other day, EAS master beekeeper, and I was asking him, you know, like, what is the difference between a fat bee and just a normal honeybee, a skinny bee? And how do fat bees get fat? I mean, genetically, they're identical to their sisters that are skinny, right? So what makes them fat? And he said, it's the change of tasks. So basically, you know, the population of a colony is in the decline. And as that population declines, there's less work for nurse bees to do, less brood to rear. Versus the springtime. Now, the bees are still absolutely, you know, they're still raising brood right now. I mean, pollen is coming in every other bee, left and right. So what's the difference? Well, when those tasks start to slow down, the bees, I guess they don't consume as much of their fat bodies, so they reserve more, they have more. I almost think of it like exercise. They're doing less exercise, so they're getting fatter. Sounds good to me, right? That's kind of how he explained it, although that's my own little analogy on the lack of exercise. But the more work a bee does, the less fat bodies she has. The less work she does, the more fat bodies. So that's the difference. So are fat bees being reared right now? Yes. Which is why you should have already done your mite treatments in August, early September, to get those mite loads knocked down, because you do not want the fat bees sick with virus loads or anything else that varroa carries. So that's why that's important. Okay, so we're done with that. What are we doing now? Well, right now, I'm doing oxalic acid vaporization treatments as like ongoing maintenance, okay? So OA vaporization is not a good knockdown method. It's a good maintenance method. So having low mite numbers, I'm trying to maintain that. I'm trying to keep low mite numbers, okay? So I've just been hitting OA like, I don't know, every 7 days or so. And I'll keep doing that through October into November, Thanksgiving, as long as the temperatures stay, you know, relatively higher above freezing, above, 57, 58 degrees. I don't want to hit them with OA when they're clustered, because you can cause the bees to break cluster and they could chill the brood and all sorts of stuff along those lines. So you really want to use OA vaporization up to the point of where the bees start clustering, okay? So I am doing some OA treatments, but today the other thing I'm doing is checking colony weights and preparing these colonies for the winter, make sure they have enough food inside the colony. So what does that entail? Well, I've switched my syrup to 2-to-1. The first is always the sugar, and then the second number is always the water. So 2-to-1, 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. So it's a very thick syrup. And the reason why we want to feed that to the bees is because it's easier for them to take that and store into their honeycomb for the winter to process it. It's easier for them to get the less water in it. They don't have to actively try to remove that moisture from the honey once they convert it from sugar syrup into honey. So that's why we switched to 2-to-1 this time of year. And what's our target weight? Well, I run singles. If you've been watching my channel for any period of time, you know that I just run single brood management. And getting singles through the winter is actually a little bit easier than doubles, because if you think of that cluster and you think of that cluster inside the brood chamber here, when I put on these Vivaldi boards and I put a patty on for the winter time, that cluster typically is going to be at the very top of the brood box. Well, that's right next to that Hive Alive patty that I use. So, you know, they're close to food. They're not going to, usually, they're not going to starve. I have had colonies starve. That's not always true. If they're over here on frames like 1 and 2 and the cluster's over here and they can't get to the middle, yes, there always are the exceptions. But generally speaking, it's easier to get singles into the winter. Now, it's harder to prepare singles to get into the winter. You have to be a lot more intentional. You have to check colonies more often this time of year. It's a fine line between making sure that these colonies have enough food and are up to weight, but also not plugging the brood nest with nectar, or not nectar, plugging the brood nest with sugar syrup, and forcing the queen, you know, to not have anywhere to lay and risk having one of those uber late swarms that you see on Facebook, right? So, it's a fine line. So if you run singles, how do you successfully monitor that? You get in the colony. Now, do you pull all 10 frames? No, because that's very risky this time of year. If you accidentally roll your queen or damage her or something, you're almost SOL, okay? It is too late to try to raise a queen from scratch, because that's going to be 21 days. Let's see, it's going to be a queen. It's going to be 16 days from the very start that they're queenless. 16 days later, she's going to take about a week in the colony, that she's going to need to go on mating flights close to November. There ain't no drones. Drones are getting kicked out. There's not going to be any drones, so you're just not going to be successful. So if you happen to kill a queen this time of year, your really only option is to combine that now queenless colony with a queen right colony. So you got to be very careful. What I mean by that is, don't inspect unless you have a reason to inspect this time of year. Don't just willy-nilly be rummaging around in colonies. Now, what I do is I'm checking for, you know, the queen status. I want to see eggs. I don't need to find the queen. If I do, great. I need to find eggs. I want to find all stages of life. I want to look for a pretty good brood pattern. I want to check adult bees for any signs of K-wing or disease that you can see. And that's it. And then you close the colony and you move on. That's really it. You don't want to spend a lot of time in here, especially the more time that you have a colony open. If there isn't a nectar flow going on, and we do have a little flow going on right now with this, not ragweed, but the goldenrod, smells like dirty socks. I mean, I opened a hive yesterday and it was like, woof. I mean, it was like somebody threw a bunch of wet, dirty socks in my face. I mean, it smelled awful. And it's amazing that honey can taste really, really good, though. That's the magic of honeybees, converting something nasty into something amazing. So anyway, that's what we're doing in colonies right now. We need to get in here, and I'll walk you through as I go through this, kind of what I'm doing, what I'm looking for, why I'm doing it, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But my goal is to get through these 4 colonies. I just realized I think I still have a frame feeder in this one, and I forgot a couple frames, but we'll get that here in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at this first colony, just kind of see how they're doing. Let's assess. I'm going to go ahead and put that Vivaldi board on, because I'm not ready to put insulation in it yet or anything along those lines. I'm going to put one of those rapid feeders and feed 2-to-1 sugar syrup via the Vivaldi board. Those Vivaldi boards are very versatile. I mean, they are really nice. I like them. I've been using them for, I don't know, you know, almost since year 1, I think. I mean, is this going to be my 5th winter using them? I think. So, man, this smoke is just wanting to go everywhere. Sure. And the bees are probably pretty testy this time of day. What is it? It's like, is it 6:15? Yeah. I mean, they're not going to be happy with me here, but we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna see how it goes. Let's see how mad they get. Scan for your queen here. Don't see her. That's fine. Knock the bees down. I go ahead and clean this off. That's just me. I'll just go ahead and grab this brace comb here just real quick. I'm not overly worried about it. Okay, well, let me bring you in here so you can kind of look straight down, look at what I'm looking at. This is what most of my colonies look like. Not every single one. But I would say most of them are, you know, I would say 9 to 10 seams of bees. That's about 8, I would say. It doesn't look like anyone's on that outside frame, but you can see this fat. I can tell that's loaded with honey. That is a very full frame. Very full frame. It's going to be very heavy. So, all right, let's take a look. Hopefully they don't get too mad. I'll go ahead and clean this up while I'm in here. Just be careful, okay? Like I said, the last thing you want to do right now is roll a queen. So just make sure that you're pulling your frames up, especially this first one, very slow, very methodical, okay? Easy does it. I don't suspect she's on this frame, but I've seen crazier things. And they just have really made this comb kind of wonky. Look at that. Yeah, that's not ideal. But this colony hasn't been fed in weeks, and that is nectar. I'm not going to shake the bees to see if it's splashing, but that's what that is. Right down in the cells there. That is wet nectar. And just look what they've done with this. Ugh. Usually, this is what happens when you don't wax your frames, okay? This frame actually is waxed, though, so I don't know what the heck they were doing, but they didn't like this comb very well. I'll tell you that much. Okay, let's go ahead and set this down. I had a comment on previous video like the other day. Take a couple minutes to address this, and they're like, yeah, I don't know why Josh micromanages or something, micromanages his colony, or you just need to let bees be bees. It's like, and I'm going to post a rant video one day about there's so many different ways to successfully keep bees. It drives me insane when people are like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to do it this way. No, you don't. There's lots of different ways. And this is how I choose to manage my bees. And it's worked for me. Am I perfect? Far from it. Not even close. But isn't beekeeping by definition sort of micromanaging bees? I mean, yes, bees can survive just fine on their own, right? But if you're a beekeeper and you're managing colonies, you have to manage them. No, I'm not in them every day. Far from it, you know. I don't know. I just didn't really understand that comment. Let's see if I can free her. Because I don't know. I feel like that's most folks. So, or at least most beekeepers. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what this frame... Oh my... This frame probably weighs 10 pounds. I'm not kidding. Oh, it is completely stuffed. I bet that's all kept. No, there's nectar on the bottom there, but that's what both sides look like. And you can see there's bee bread and pollen in the bottom left here. But, I mean, this frame is... I'm telling you, it's a good 10 pounds. Easy. I would love to have honey super frames like that. Okay. We'll just stick them there for now and keep going through this colony. Okay. Now remember, I don't need to find the queen. I'm not going to pull all 10 of these frames. Right now, and that's another food frame. Right now, this colony is looking pretty good in terms of the food, okay? I'm not ready to weigh all the colonies yet. I'm still feeding. And we're having a, like I said, kind of a hit or miss flow here. This one should be it is a little lighter, not much though. But there's a good brood pattern on here. Captive brood. Really good looking colony. Nice captive brood pattern here. If you can see it. I don't know how well you can see on the camera there, but big circle of brood right there with honey all on the outside. That's what you want to see. I'm not seeing any drones, I can tell you that. Got a bunch of females in here. So I'm still going because I want to see eggs. I want to see young larvae. I want to see eggs. And these frames are still all very heavy. This colony has to be pretty close to weight. Now they can still add some more. That's mostly food. There's still this frame 1 and 2 over here that's at their disposal if they need to use it. That's the other thing I look for, you know, running singles. You don't want them to run out of room, right? That's all food. On this side, yep. There's the queen, by the way. She's green. I don't know what she's doing crawling all over the honey, but this is why you never know where those queens are going to be. Good queen. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to carefully put her, so she's on the side facing you. You put it back in the middle and very carefully push the frame back together this way. Notice I didn't put it here and then smush all 3 frames into her because she could crawl on the edge and you could end up squishing her. I don't want to do that. So now I know she's somewhere in here, or at least was. So as I start to, I gotta get bees out of the way. So as I start to push this, using my hive tool as leverage here against the side of the box, this is how you prevent pinching your queen by doing a late inspection here. You move the frames together, and then where I'm about to join them here, I'm looking down, and I'm just being very careful that there's not any bees in between where the 2 pieces of wood touch. And then I push them back together. And that's it. Take this, put this back in. That's a heavy frame. Heavy, heavy frame. And put this one back in. Don't have to be as careful putting it back in because I know, well, she should. I don't think she's all the way over here, right? She could be, I guess. Make a liar out of me. But let's get this piece out. Okay. All right. How heavy are we thinking this is? I mean, good weight. That's got to be 50, 55 pounds. But that's not my target weight. Target weight is 70. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a Vivaldi board on here. Okay. Just like that. I've been using these top rapid feeders for several years now. I like them well enough. They're not perfect. They're not, you know, they're actually on Amazon advertised as Hummingbird feeders, which makes no sense. I'll put a link in the description if hopefully I remember to. But this is what they look like. They got this little cap that goes in. Fill this up with syrup. Bees can only come inside this little dome here. That's it. Pretty simple and straightforward. So I just put this down here. A little handy dandy bucket that I drilled a hole in and put a little tap. And that's it. And my recommendation is to stay here and watch it, because if you don't, you know what happens? Yep, what happened yesterday. Walked off, forgot about it, and syrup ran all over the side of the colony. What do you think that caused? Yeah. Fortunately, from what I could tell, it didn't set off robbing, like there wasn't like the battle to the death going on at any hive entrance or anything. But all the honeybees in the neighborhood were definitely checking it out, that's for sure. So everything looks fine now. I was looking over at them earlier. So just be careful with this stuff. Don't get in a big hurry. Okay, I think sugar's starting to get caught down in the bottom. I need to rinse this thing out pretty soon. It should be coming out faster than that. And it's full, so I think sugar's probably getting built up. But that's it. Pretty simple, straightforward. I mean, this colony is really close to winter ready. The queens that you have in the colonies now are pretty much the queens you're stuck with. So, you know, those are going to be the queens that get you through your winter. So. Oh, a little bit of news update for those that care. Remember I told you I was going to pursue the master beekeeping course at University of Florida? And that I was in the process of trying to test out of the beginners. There's 4 levels: beginners, advanced, master, master craftsman. I was trying to test out of the first year. And I did. I was successful. So I think I did tell you in an earlier video that I passed the written exam. And I'm happy to say that I passed the field test with flying colors. And so I am now in the advanced course. So I have the beginner beekeeping title. I think apparently they're supposed to be mailing me a certificate. So yeah, this is all over the place. So they're supposed to be mailing me a certificate, but I have started the advanced coursework now. Forget how many modules. There's like maybe 15 or 16 modules in the advanced coursework that I have to get through. Then I have to do public speaking, get so many hours doing that. I think it's like maybe 10 or 12 hours doing public speaking events. Wait a year. You have to hold the title of beginner for a year, and then I will get the title of advanced beekeeper. Goodness. But it's fun. I mean, it's nice to go to school and take courses on stuff you're really interested in, right? So yeah, we are feeding. Flip it up because we're feeding. Pretty cool though. So far, you know, good program. Just getting started. I have my, what do you call it? My counselor, I guess, advisor. I'm supposed to have a meeting with him within the next week or 2, I believe. So yeah, pretty excited about that. I was happy to not have to sit through all the beginning stuff. I'm sure there's still plenty I could have learned. I'm not saying that. I just think I was ready more for the advanced. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Queen, queen, queen. Don't see a queen. No queen. All right. If anyone's interested, I mean, I recommend you check them out. University of Florida, IF, or UFAS, I think it's called. But pretty if you're interested in that sort of thing. 8 to 9 seams of bees here. The only place I don't see bees is right here on the 2 outer edges. So let's see what we're working with here. They're more jittery than the previous hive. They're not thrilled. Well, first of all, let me do it. God, there's stupid spider webs are everywhere. That's got some good weight to it. That's also, I'd say, in the 50-pound range or so. All right. Food on both sides, nectar. Like I said, haven't been feeding this one. I'm just going to put this back in. Only work with one. This frame looks very heavy. You just see that fat, you look down and you see real fat comb. Oh yeah, that's a good, probably 10. There's brood on this one too, but man, it's heavy. Good brood pattern. There's, ouch. There's, yeah, I know, you're mad. There's capped brood right here. Yeah, this colony's more testy than the other one. Okay. So the only thing I really want to see, bees look healthy, bees look good, as far as I can tell, just looking at the adults. Plenty of food in here right now. Still need a little more before winter. But I want to see eggs. Oh man, they purple us that in. Eggs are the queen, one of the two. Okay, I see larvae. I'm losing my daylight here, guys. I bet there might be egg. Let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to go step into the sunlight real quick, out of frame, and get some sun on this comb. And if I see eggs, which I do, eggs, really young larvae, full of royal jelly. Let me see on this end. Got some pearly white C-shaped larvae right here. This colony's looking really good. That's it, folks. That's all I need to do. That's it. I'm closing this colony up. Do not go rummaging through a hive right now just to satisfy your curiosity, because you just really want to see every single frame or document what's on every frame. Just don't do it. Be very careful putting them back together. Okay. Grab this one. Stick them back in here. They're starting to... They're getting a little annoyed. I'm done, girls. Chill. Oh, I do want to get this brass comb off the top. Watch out. Okay. All right. I'm gonna feed. I got frame over here, both wide open. Can hold a lot more food. So they are in zero danger of starving. They've got about 50 pounds on there, but I got to get them up. Really want to get them up to about 70. Okay. I've almost got all of them converted to these Apiarist pollen traps. If you missed that video that I did, go back a couple videos. You see where I did a review on these Apiarist pollen trap bottom boards for wooden hives. Absolutely love them. Love them so much that I'm switching my entire apiary over to them. So all 24 of these colonies by this winter will have an Apiarist bottom board. I only have 4 more to go, other than the Lyson colonies, of course. But man, they're great. I'm a big fan. And I started selling pollen. So many people started asking me about pollen, which I just thought was kind of, I just wasn't expecting it. And so I harvested some pollen, sold like 6 or like maybe what, eight jars, the same jars that I have for my creamed honey. And yeah, people were buying it. I mean, they want them for allergy benefits and other stuff. I was like, okay. So next year I'm going to try to get a lot more pollen to be able to offer that product more often. I kind of just offered it off to the side. I didn't advertise it or anything. But yeah, these bottom boards are great. So I also like how the insert, the bottom tray, really butts up close to the bottom board to help kind of seal any air gaps so no breezes or cold wind can get through. That was kind of the problem with these Langstroth wooden bottom boards I had. The IPM board sits about, you know, a ½ inch below the screen, and I'm sure cold wind was able to just whip right through there, you know. Probably didn't help my cause with the winter losses I sustained last year, but we'll see. So this year I'll have apamaze on all of them. Several of them are getting a insulation wrap. That's a future video to come. Man Lake sent me, 10 or so of these to try this winter. So I'm pretty excited about that. I am an official Man Lake brand ambassador. So that's pretty cool. They reached out to me a few months ago, starting their brand ambassador program, and asked if I would consider doing it. And I've used a lot of Man Lake stuff, so I said sure. I've had good luck with their woodenware and lots of their products. I use their frames exclusively, like for the supers for my mediums. I've used different frames for deeps, but my mediums almost exclusively come from Man Lake. I like their Max Wax right cell. I've had really good luck with it. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'm also going to do a review on slatted racks very soon. And as a brand ambassador to Man Lake, you can get 10% off, I think, almost any order. Maybe not queens. I heard somebody said they didn't get the discount for queens. But the discount code is Bees in the Weeds 10. Bees in the Weeds 10, 10. And you'll get 10% off all your orders indefinitely as a fan of the channel. So hopefully that makes, keeps your wallet a little heavier. Save a little bit of money on your beekeeping supplies. All right. That's it. So basically rinse, repeat. I've been doing this, I'll be doing this for all 24 colonies. Just getting them ready, getting that weight up. And I'll do a video in the future where I put a scale on each colony later, probably in October, to really make sure they have enough weight. And then I'll swap these rapid feeders out of the Vivaldi board, put the insulation in, put the shim in, and put the Hive Alive patty. And then we officially will be done and ready for winter. So that's it. I think that's it for this video, but that's all there is to it. It's not overly complicated. Just a couple important tips. Don't go rummaging through your hives this time of year. Be very careful. Make sure your colonies have enough food. Hopefully you're done with your mite treatments. If not, get on it. Use oxalic acid. Try not to shut your queens down this time of year if you can avoid it. Now, if the colony is just loaded with mites and they're going to die anyway, sure, yeah. Shut your queen down and give them some formic or what have you. But ideally, you should have already done your mite treatments. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. Please be sure to give the thumbs up if you do. God bless you and your bees, and I'll see you on the next video.